Hello and welcome to Red Gaming Tech for your daily dose of the latest gaming news and myself, Amata. Today is still the 25th of September and today I'm bringing you something a little bit different as we have some rather interesting information concerning Thief, as the producer Stephane has given some details on how the PlayStation 4 edition will be implementing the DualShock 4 controller and its new features, and most likely including the light bar and so forth. Now, according to him, the DualShock 4's light bar will be used to indicate whether Garrett is in the shadows and how visible you are and that sort of thing, and the touchpad is going to be used for quicker menu navigation. Now, this was during an interview published on the PlayStation blog, and Roy also praised the controller's finely honed motion control feature, which he described as, quote, way more precise than before. And he also said, quote, you can use it to adjust your aiming with the bow, and the level of accuracy we get with it is really impressive. And he's actually talked a little bit about how Eidos Montreal has taken cues from Mirror's Edge and Battlefield in order to hone the game's, quote, body awareness. And he's also touched on the fact that the studio has worked hard to improve enemy AI. And he said, quote, we also model the sensors of the AI as realistically as possible. We distinguish between central vision and peripheral vision. This also is put forward by the way we use head tracking to make the AI look more believable when they react to something. And look at the player. There's also the sound that will attract and alert AI. Players can control the sound they emit by controlling their movement speed, but it's also influenced by the surface that they work on. So there you have it. Those are some of the changes you can look forward to for the PS4 version of Thief, other than, of course, the inevitably improved graphics from the current gen version. And of course, as always, I'd be curious to see how the PS4 version will match up to any PC version if it does end up being released. So obviously, in this instance with the DualShock 4 controller, the light bar is basically going to take the place of a traditional awareness meter or visibility meter. That would probably be in the corner of the screen, and it would show you in some way. Obviously, there's numerous ways it can show you. Many stealth games have done it in many different ways, and so it's really tough to say exactly how it will be displaying on the screen in the other versions, but basically, regardless of all that, the light bar will be taking the place of that, and I would imagine that certain colours will mean certain things, or maybe perhaps it's to do with brightness. They didn't really touch on the specifics of it, just that the light bar will be helping you have a visual indicator on your controller of how visible you are. It's an interesting feature. Now, I do wonder if you'd have the option to turn that off, or to just have that as well as a more traditional display on the screen as part of the heads-up display, or anything like that. They obviously didn't touch on that either, but considering that is also going to be coming out on a multi-platform release, I would imagine that the game will have some sort of visibility meter, regardless of how it is that they end up doing that. So it would be nice, I think, for those people who don't want to have to focus too much on the controller and perhaps pull themselves out of any immersion factor or anything like that, to have the option to turn that off, or to have, as well as that, an option in the UI or what have you. Still, it's an interesting idea, and I look forward to seeing what can actually be done with the new technology of the PS4, not just in terms of the specifications of the power and improved graphics and all of that, but the new features of the controller, such as the touchpad, light bar, and so on. And of course, if you have the PlayStation Eye, any motion control that you have going on as well, as the light bar is basically the PlayStation Move. So it's definitely going to be an interesting time come November, and I'll be curious to see how this actually ends up working out, how they exactly end up implementing it, and just a general future of the usage of this technology. Anyway, that is me done for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.